have been boiling my meat for around 30 minutes so that the beef can be tender. So this is how it's looking at this point. The water has dried out, so I'm going to transfer my meat in a bowl. I'm going to be adding some oil just to fry my onions, and then I'm going to add in my onion. I'm using white onion for this recipe. Stir in, and then I'm going to cook the onions until soft. I love how you can notice bits of meat from boiling our meat. So this is going to add even more flavor. So I'm going to give this a minute to cook. As the onions are softening up, I'm going to be adding in garlic. So these are 3 cloves of garlic. Stir in. Let the garlic cook until fragrant. That is about 30 seconds to 1 minute. As you can see, my onions are browning. So I'm going to add in my spices. So I have paprika, garlic powder, coriander powder, and ground cumin. And here I have 1 seasoning cube, So I'm going to add my spices in, and then I'm going to break my seasoning cube in the pan. Stir in. This already looks amazing. Next, I'm going to be adding in my meat. This is a recipe for 2. So this is half a kg of meat. So this smells absolutely amazing. So to let my spices cook together with the meat, I'm going to add a dash of water. Stir in. This is how it's looking. I'm going to add a little bit more. Now you can notice the amazing color from the paprika, and also I love the aroma in my kitchen. It's so amazing. I'm going to give this a minute to cook so that the flavors can soak in the meat. So it's been like 2 minutes while my meat has been cooking up together with the spices, and this is how it's looking. You'll notice that the sauce has thickened up. This looks amazing. So next I'll be adding in my fries, and as I said, the recipe is for 2. So I'm going to stir in, and at this point I've reduced the heat to low. Then I'm going to let the fries soak up the amazing sauce. At this point, you can add your favorite sauce. If it's ketchup or tomato sauce, you can add some. For me, I'm not going to be adding because I love mine this way. I'm going to give this a couple of minutes, around 1 to 2 minutes to cook. So you keep flipping and tossing around so that the fries can soak up, or the fries can cook. Yeah. On medium-high flame, I'm going to add in some cooking oil. This rice dish is going to include a lot of spices for the flavor, and also I'm going to include meat in this recipe because it's going to be so delicious. Yeah, because my oil is hot, I'm going to add in my onions. Stir in. This is one small onion, so I'm going to cook for about a minute, just until the onion is soft. Next, I'm going to be adding roughly chopped garlic and ginger. Stir in the garlic and ginger and cook until fragrant. Just when the garlic and ginger are browning a little bit, I'm going to add in my meat. Stir in the meat. Then I'm going to let my meat sear. So what I'm doing, I'm making sure that it is in a single layer. Then next I'm going to be adding my spices. I want my spices to cook together with the meat. So I'm going to add in a quarter teaspoon of black pepper, some cumin seeds, a teaspoon of cumin seeds, so I'm going to be adding 4 cardamom pods. I'm going to add that in, and then over here I have paprika, thyme, coriander powder and cloves. I'm going to add that in as well, and then I'm going to add in 1 Royco cube. I'm using the beef flavor. Stir this, and as you can see, the meat has a nice golden brown color. When everything is nice and well combined, I'm going to cover this and let it cook for about 2 to 3 minutes. Also watch over your meat because you don't want it to burn. It's been a couple of minutes, and let me tell you, the aroma in the kitchen is just amazing. I'm going to give my meat a stir. So next I'm going to be adding carrots. So this is 2 large carrots. Actually they're not large, they're medium. Then I'm going to stir in. Add in my tomatoes. I want the tomatoes to cook together with the carrots. And as you can see, we have a very nice brown color from searing the meat. So to my pot, I'm going to add in tomato paste. I'm adding about half a tablespoon of tomato paste. Stir in and let everything cook, giving you a very awesome tomato sauce or tomato base. So I'm going to give this, cover this and give this about a minute so that the tomatoes can cook through. So my tomatoes are ready. This is how they're looking, and they are looking amazing. So to this I'm going to add in 1 stock cube. I'm using the beef flavor. Then I'm going to stir this in. Add in rice. Then I'm going to stir my rice in. Wow, this looks amazing. This is going to be delicious. Very delicious. Next, I'm going to pick my assorted peppers. So as I'm stirring, I'm toasting the rice. Once everything is combined, I'm going to add in water. Once everything is combined, I'm going to let this cook or come to a boil, and then I'm going to check the seasoning. If it is perfect, because I added 1 Royco cube and 1 seasoning cube, I'm just going to leave it at that. But if it is not well seasoned, I'm going to add in a little bit of salt. So make sure you do not overwhelm the salt, because the cube and the stock cube have a lot of salt. So this is how the rice is looking after a couple of minutes, and as you can see, the water is drying out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cover this, then I'm going to reduce the flames to low. I'm going to be steaming my rice for about 5 minutes until the water dries out. That is going to make our rice very fluffy. So that is a very good hack for making your rice. Always when the water dries out, reduce the flame, cover the pot or sufuria, and steam your rice. My rice is ready and it's smelling so good. It's very flavorful. So good. You can smell the cardamom and the cloves. So I'm going to use a fork and fluff up my rice. Make sure that every part of the rice is, all the ingredients are evenly distributed in the rice. So I'm going to serve mine. And I'm really going to enjoy my meal. See how my rice is fluffy? Very nice. Add some more. So this is how my meat is looking. This is a kg of meat and it is very bony. So I asked my butcher I wanted a certain cut of meat, but he decided to give me another cut of meat. So it's quite okay. I'm going to be using my meat as it is. So without further ado, I'm going to move over to the stove top, and I've placed a very huge pot because this is my family dinner. So I'm going to add in my meat. And then I'm going to season with some salt and pepper. So I'll add a generous amount of pepper. Salt. And then I'm going to wait for my meat to sear. So while my meat is cooking, I'm going to be chopping up my garlic. I'm going to be using 4 cloves of garlic, which are very huge. Sometimes you come across very large cloves of garlic, but because I like my food very garlicky, I'm going to chop up my garlic. So I'm going to smash my garlic cloves, and then it's going to be easy to chop up the garlic. Then I'm going to finely dice my garlic. this is how my meat is looking after a couple of minutes. You can see we have browning. So this is going to be so delicious. Yum. Just look at that. This is going to add a lot of flavor. You can see the gorgeous golden brown color. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to transfer my meat to a plate. Yum, look at that. I'm already salivating. So my meat was a little bit fatty, so the meat has rendered its own fat. That is what I'm going to be frying my onions with. So I'm going to add in 2 large white onions. Notice the bits of meat, the flavor that is in this oil is just deliciousness. Totally 100% deliciousness. When my onions are ready, I'm going to be adding in my garlic. Cook until fragrant. And then I'm going to be adding in a few spices. One beef stock cube. 1 seasoning cube. And then I'm going to stir in. Wow, look at that change of color. Once my garlic is fragrant, I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. You can also use cornstarch. Then I'm going to make a roux. This is how it's looking. And then I'm going to add in a little bit of water. You stir in the water so that it doesn't form lumps. Once everything is combined, I'm going to add in more water and then stir in everything to combine. Add in some tomato paste. Let everything cook together. This is a very delicious gravy. I'm going to give this a minute to cook. After 1 minute, I'm going to add back my meat. Yum. Stir in the meat. Look at that. Once everything is combined, I'm going to add in some carrots that are roughly chopped up. Stir in. I'm going to add in some thyme, bay leaf, some rosemary, stir in. Trust me when I tell you this is going to be super delicious. You have to try out the recipe. And then I'm going to add in some water. Enough to submerge the meat. Stir in the water. And then I'm going to let this simmer on low for around 30 minutes so that the meat can cook through and the spices can soak into the meat, giving us a very delicious beef stew. So after a few minutes, I'm going to add in my assorted peppers, stir in, and let this cook for another 5 minutes because 30 minutes it's almost over. My delicious beef stew is ready. So I'm going to turn off the heat and then I'm going to check on my stew. Just look at that.